Okay, so one of the ways we screw this up is those longer term goals. And if we chunk them to something like 30 days, it can be easier for us. Any other kind of tips or strategies that might help us kind of move the needle on what we really want out of life?
I think for me, the one thing that I have always emphasized with the goals that I choose is I really want to be emotionally charged up about that goal. Like, I've chosen goals before that someone else told me to do, or a goal that I felt was like, this is an important goal, this is what I should be doing. And I never tend to do those very well. Like, I want to be like personally invested in what I'm working on. And the more that that's part of the process, like the more curious that I am, the more questions I'm going to ask, the more I'm going to dig into that thing further. Like, I find that the more of me and my personality I can put into my projects, the more that it seems interesting to me. Then tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., I can get up and work on this thing I'm excited to work on, not just something I keep pushing off because I don't want to do it. If that's how I feel about it, I feel like something has to shift in either how I approach it or whether I should just cancel that thing to begin with. And I want to make sure that I'm choosing things I'm actually excited to dig into. And we don't always have that control. I mean, someone else may choose it for us if we have a boss like hand us an assignment. But when you have the opportunity to find those reasons to care about something, to put more of yourself into it, it's more personal. And then I think you find reasons to move the needle forward.
Yeah, so having that kind of energy and excitement about that goal. So we could also say avoid kind of the shoulds and supposed tos. Like,
Yes.
I really should do this because, I'm this kind of person, and this kind of person should have a goal like this or whatever, rather than saying what really gets me excited, and finding that energy. So you're motivated because that energy can motivate you.
Well, I always say on my show, it's like, don't do this thing because a guy in a podcast told you to. Like, you should do something because you actually want to do it. Like, if that's the case, then you're actually going to do something about it. Like right now, as a simple example, I started doing a fasting protocol this year. So I'm eating a whole lot less than normal, which to the average person, not eating sounds like torture. And I totally get that. That's how I felt literally 3 weeks ago. But now that I've decided, like, for myself, I want to try this, I'm finding reasons why I care about it, and I'm into it now. But it takes that real a willingness to try on things that you think could be a part of like who you are, the new version of you. I love to redefine like who is Jeff Sanders this year, who am I now, and what else can I incorporate to make myself like just care more about what I'm working on. So for the way I know that I personally love variety, I love to challenge myself, so I look for opportunities to bring more of that into my life. Versus if you operate a different way, you just know yourself and bring in more of the best version of you.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. Okay, so we've got this 30 days idea, energy, excitement as a second component. Any other ingredients that might set us up for success?
I think one of the biggest things is blocking distractions, because for most of us, it's not an issue of do we care about it? It's often, I care about it. I'm trying to, someone's at the door. The phone rang again. I haven't, another email came in. Like, there's all of these interruptions. And those are so destructive to our ability to get things done. And so as a simple example right now, I'm doing what I call a focus block of time, which means that my phone is turned off, my door is closed, the sign on that tells my wife to stay away because I'm doing a video call. Like, she knows that's happening. Like, there are specific things in place to make sure that I'm not going to get pulled away. Like, unless the house is on fire, I'm not going to stop this focus block. And so it's that level of intentionality that I put into, when I have a work project later today, I'm going to have another focus block where I have the same level of, making sure that time is my time for that specific activity and that nothing else can happen during that time. And then I'll have, time later to answer the phone, time later for email, time later for those little things. But when it's time to do the one thing that matters, I need to guarantee that time. And when that happens, it is remarkable how much gets done. Because we're so used to being pulled away that when we have those experiences where we're focused, we're like, oh my gosh, this was incredible. I can't believe so much got done in 1 hour or whatever the case is. And so that's how my books get written. That's how my podcasts get produced, is these focus blocks of time guarantee my own success.
So I want to dig into that just a little bit more. In the blocks of time, do you always set the same block, or do you think about the activity and then say, how much do I need a kind of accordion in that block, because this is going to be more creative time and that's like a tactical thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything I do is flexible. So as much as I love structure and love to have my time managed out, I'm constantly rearranging my calendar. I feel like it's the biggest puzzle of my life, is what blocks go where and for how long and for what reason. I mean, for example, when I wrote my last book, I had 4-hour blocks of time for writing. Because for me, writing takes a lot longer to get into the flow. And then once I'm there, I want to stay there as long as I can. And so I need 4 or 5 hours of time to write. Versus if I'm doing a podcast recording, I only need about 1 hour. And that's enough time for me to get the job done. So you flex the time based upon the project, but once you've done these things enough time, most of our tasks are recurring, so we can predict how long something would take. So you just schedule those blocks into your calendar and okay, I've got 90 minutes, let's get to this next thing. And oftentimes I'll use a timer that counts down that says like this, the clock is ticking, so let's get to work even faster. And you find those little tricks that just keep you moving. And then when that whole thing is done, well, then you can look at Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is you were trying to do before. And that's really helpful for a lot of people.
And I love that because that block, the way you even described it, it almost creates urgency. Like, the clock's ticking. I only have I got 59 minutes, 58. What am I doing? I got to do it. Right? This is great. Okay. All right. So we've got our 30 days. We've got energy and excitement. We've got our blocking distractions or calendar mastery is what I wrote down. It's like you're mastering your calendar. You're the boss of your calendar. Any other ingredients before I throw out to you something I'm struggling with personally?
Sure. One thing, and this is what I mentioned a lot in my latest book, was about mastering free time from the perspective of making sure that you own your time. So we said before to respect your time. One of the ways that I make sure I do that is I'm doing a weekly review, and in that review process, I look at the week coming up and I ask one really important question, which is what can I cut? I am constantly trying to figure out what to get rid of, because it's one of the only ways to make sure that the things that matter will have enough time to breathe.